President Donald Trump made a surprise announcement on Monday, saying the United States and Iran were poised to begin direct talks on Tehran's nuclear program.
We're dealing with the Iranians. We have a very big meeting on Saturday, and we're dealing with them directly. You know, a lot of people say, oh, maybe you're going through surrogates or you're not dealing directly, you're dealing through other countries. No, we're dealing with them directly, and maybe a deal is going to be made. That would be great. It would be really great for Iran, I can tell you that.
However, after Trump spoke, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi posted on X that the upcoming discussions in Oman would be indirect, through a mediator. He said, quote, "It is as much an opportunity as it is a test. The ball is in America's court." In recent weeks, Trump has threatened to bomb Iran if they do not directly negotiate over their nuclear program. He gave a similar warning on Monday.
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger. And I hate to say it, great danger, because they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Hours later, Iran state media said the indirect talks would be led by Araghchi and US presidential envoy Steve Witkoff, with Oman's foreign minister acting as intermediary. Oman maintains good relations with the US and Iran, often acting as a channel for messages between the rival states. The US and Iran held indirect talks during former President Joe Biden's term, but made little progress. The last known direct negotiations between the two governments were under then-President Barack Obama. He spearheaded the 2015 international nuclear deal that Trump later abandoned. Warnings by Trump of military action against Iran have stirred up already high tension across the Middle East. Trump has also beefed up the US military presence in the region since taking office, but has said he would prefer a deal to armed confrontation. Iranian officials have said that Tehran would not be bullied into negotiations. Direct talks would not occur without the explicit approval of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In February, he said negotiations with the US were, quote, "not smart, wise, or honorable."
China has refused to bow to what it calls blackmail from the United States. That, as a global trade war ignited by Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, showed few signs of abating on Tuesday. Beijing's rebuke came after Trump threatened to ratchet up tariffs on US imports from the world's number 2 economy to more than 100% on Wednesday, in response to China's decision to match the reciprocal duties Trump announced last week. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian.
The actions of the US side have not demonstrated any genuine willingness for serious dialogue. If the US truly wishes to engage in talks, it should adopt an attitude of equality, mutual respect and reciprocity. If it persists in disregarding the common interests of both countries and the international community and insists on escalating the trade and tariff conflict, China will, as always, fight to the end.
China's fast and hardline approach contrasted with moves by other Asian countries. The EU is also still consulting with member states on how hard to punch back without causing more harm to its consumers and exporters. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, in a phone call with China's Premier Li Qiang, called on Beijing to ensure a negotiated solution and stressed the need to support a fair trading system founded on a level playing field. The two also reportedly discussed setting up a mechanism to track possible trade diversion caused by the tariffs. The EU fears China will redirect cheap exports from the US to Europe. The bloc has proposed counter-tariffs of its own to Trump's onslaught that has swept up dozens of countries. Financial markets have been sent into a tailspin in recent days. It's fueled expectations that the global economy may be headed for recession.
Could these be dire wolf cubs, a species that has been extinct for more than 10,000 years? US biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences says it has produced 3 dire wolves, though some experts are sceptical. Colossal released footage said to show direwolf adolescent cubs, Romulus and Remus, produced by modifying the genome of a modern grey wolf using direwolf DNA found in fossils. Reuters could not independently verify Kolossal's claims, nor the location or date of the video. Corey Bradshaw, Professor of Global Ecology at Australia's Flinders University, suggested that what Kolossal says it has done is impossible due to factors like DNA degradation.
Yes, they have slightly genetically modified wolves, maybe. And that's probably the best that you're going to get. And those slight modifications seem to have been derived from retrieved direwolf material. Does that make it a direwolf? No. Does it make a slightly modified grey wolf? Yes. And that's probably about it.
According to Kolossal, their team extracted DNA from fossils including a 13,000-year-old direwolf tooth and a 72,000-year-old inner ear bone. A female puppy Khaleesi was also successfully birthed, they added. Kolossal Biosciences says it is the first biotechnology company to use something called CRISPR gene editing to research species de-extinction. It also says it has recently cloned critically endangered red wolves and the hybrid colossal woolly mouse, mice genetically engineered to possess traits of the long-extinct woolly mammoth. De-extinction is fraught with problems, Bradshaw says.
Where do you put them? I mean, this is one thing that seems to be completely lost on the de-extinction people, is that, let's say that even you manage to bring back a sufficient number of mammoths or dire wolves to create a viable population. This is important because you need thousands of completely genetically diverse individuals in a population for having any chance of surviving into the future.
We are going to herd the cattle and feed them on the road. There's food in the ditches. We'll see how long it lasts. My cattle are suffering and the animals are very thin. Plus, there are a lot of snakes and tigers in that flooded area because the mountains are high. We have a lot of losses, money spent, and loss of cattle.
This British woman is the first in the UK to give birth after a womb transplant. Grace Davidson was born with a rare condition that causes the womb to be missing or underdeveloped, but an operation in February 2023 has changed her life.
Oh, she's a little miracle. We'd never really let ourselves imagine what it would be like for her to be here until we sort of saw her come up over the drapes, so it was really wonderful.
The 36-year-old received the womb from her sister, Amy Purdy, who already had 2 babies, and she named the baby after her.
It was incredibly difficult to let her do that for me as well. But I mean, it's incredible. It's a huge act of sisterly love. I didn't feel like I was living a very full life. I felt pretty broken. So my quality of life wasn't great. There was a sadness that was over me and the sadness is gone. And I think it's just the joy that I feel now that she's here.
Here is Angus, the baby's father.
It was an absolute no-brainer. We'll look at our daughter every day of her life and remember her auntie who played that crucial role in bringing her into the world, and we wouldn't have a family without Amy.
The surgery took a team of over 30 medics and around 17 hours to complete, according to the BBC.